Hey everybody, I have been slacking on my YouTube channel because I've had a lot going on with work and family life. I have a toddler, and anybody who has kids knows how that is. Um, the point of this video is to go over a couple of things. The Scrambler as a whole, as it sits now. I'm going to list out all of my parts. I'm going to list out all the things that can go wrong. I'm going to talk about the 2020 Scrambler. And I'm going to talk about my gear because I get a lot of PMs and stuff about my gear. First and foremost, it's easier to get me on Facebook and Instagram than it is on my YouTube channel. My Instagram name is Philly, Philly, LS1, like the Chevy motor. So it's Philly LS1. And then my name is Keith Fedora, Keithfidura on Facebook. It's easier to, if you have questions, I try to answer them as fast as I can, but I'm not perfect. So first and foremost, I'm not happy with the new 2020 Scrambler, as are most of my friends. It seems like Polaris has abandoned their base to go to a what they want to call a desert racing setup. I make pretty decent money, and even I couldn't justify buying an ATV that expensive. It's looking like they're going to keep the 850cc regular size Scrambler, but honestly, don't waste your money. I have an 850. I can talk all the trash I want. I've invested a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into this bike, and the juice just isn't worth the squeeze in the end. But I'll go over all of that too, I suppose, as this video goes on. The reason I'm making this video is that I've had to find out all of this stuff by trial and error, and thankfully, by the grace of God, I've made some really good friends who help me with racing. I cannot thank these guys enough. Christopher Riggin, Mike Seegers, and Sean Stratton, along with Rick Checo, all of my sponsors. So I'm not some sort of expert on this bike. I just know everything that I've broken. So learn from my mistakes and learn from my successes. I've gotten significantly faster. As you go faster, you brake, you crash more. And this video will explain to you everything that is weak on the Scrambler, and also my gear. I'll go over my gear. So first, a 1000cc Scrambler and an 850cc Scrambler are not equally fast. If you have a 850cc Scrambler that is keeping up with a 1000cc Scrambler, stock for stock, you either have, they're secretly modified, or there's a disparity with rider weight. An 850 is not going to keep up with a 1000cc Scrambler. An 850 is not going to keep up with any Renegade except the 570, and that's just the fact of how it goes. An 850 Scrambler is still a great bike. It's been served me well. It will do everything you ask of it except win races in a straight line. It's not happening. I know there's a lot of guys who don't think that that's true. It's not true. They're lying to you. I don't know why. I think it's an insecurity thing, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, let me talk about my gear. One of the things I've noticed with racing and the gear that we wear is, for some reason, our jerseys are really, really heavy. And being fat fuck, I sweat a lot. So I use a different type of material for racing with my jersey. And I showed you this dirty for a reason, to show you that I actually use it. I see a lot of guys who show their gear. You can tell they never use it. They're getting sponsored, whatever. Good for them, but I'd rather show you that I actually use my gear. I choose to put my name on my sleeve, mostly because I wear my gear on the outside. I got that habit from the military. Again, also, I'm a sweaty, fat fuck, and I do not want my gear pressed up against my body. This is the same material, the wicking material that you find with Under Armour. And the only guy who makes it is a guy named Chuck Horton on Facebook. He has a company, which name escapes me right now, but Chuck Horton on Facebook. He's at a lot of the races. He'll make these jerseys for you. They are reasonably priced. They are awesome. I don't have any problems with overheating. I don't have any problems with getting cold either, which is really nice. So that's my jersey. I don't have a set of pants with me. They're in the washer right now. I use O'Neill pants, like the camouflagey ones. On my Renegade, the previous owner had taken some of the material out of the seat, and quite honestly, it was rubbing the boys raw. So I bought one of these bicycle pants, undergarments. These bicycle pantaloons work really good. It has some padding in it. It's made for guys who bike like on a regular bicycle. It's made of, they're like Marky Mark shorts. They're like the boxer briefs. They breathe, and I like them. I wear regular socks when I race with my boots. I used to wear like big wool boots, big wool socks with my boots, but I was finding that I had like a pool of sweat in my boots at the end of a race. I switched to low cut ankle socks, and I made sure that my boots are fitting correctly, and it's made a big difference. I'm not overheating as much. I use regular old O'Neill boots, nothing fancy. Yeah, they're great. They've worked well for me. I use all protectives. I use Leat. I never race anymore without a neck brace. I saw a guy wad up his Renegade at the General last year. He was on the ground, unconscious, doing that raptor arm thing, you know. And then I saw his Instagram and all his pictures after. I no longer race without a helmet. Excuse me, I no longer race without a neck brace. I'm probably going to have to replace that thing soon, but it's well worth the money, and it's good to have it back up, I guess. I use a Leat helmet. I connect my GoPro onto the front. Earlier this year, I was running 2 GoPros. I was running one here, and I had one up under here, and it started to get in my way, flapping around. So I stopped using 2. I'm hearing that the new GoPros last about a whole race anyway, so I might go switch to them when I get a couple extra ducats. I use the Leat chest protector with the hydration system built in. If you're fucking fancy, you can put the hose into your helmet. I don't do that, because most of the time I can just reach down and grab it. I don't have, really an issue. I have my transponder hooked to it. The nice thing about this is that, like, this backpack, I've actually put an air compressor in this backpack where I thought I was going to have a problem with my tires going flat on the trail. So you can put a lot of shit back there. It doesn't bang. It's securely up against your back. I put some fuses in there, all kinds of other shit. Mostly because if anybody who watches my videos knows I have the worst luck in the world. I use the Power Mad gauntlets for when it's muddy, and then I use the Scott roll-offs with the Scott goggles, because I like how Scott has the wide ones. And then I also use O'Neill gloves. I always carry around a dead cat with me. It's just one of those like superstition things. All right, so I'll start going over the bike front to tip to taint, front to back. If you're new to buying a Scrambler or you're new to XC Racing, you're going to become intimately familiar with Checo bumper, Checo frame braces. What else? Checo support everything. The knuckles, you need front knuckles, rear knuckles. One One of the things that breaks on these things are the knuckles. Your wheel will actually come off. It'll make a bit for a bad day for you. It seems to always happen to guys in the field sections. So Checo front bumper. This bumper is the best bumper in the business. I don't know if anybody's seen that video of me smashing into that girl, Erica. She was in my class, but that saved my bike. One of the problems with the Polaris, and it'll probably be cracked when I pull this thing off of here. This lower radiator support down here, right here, this is aluminum, some sort of cast aluminum. Checo makes a new brace for that. I haven't replaced it yet. I have it in the house only because I haven't broken it yet, but it will break. This whole front support breaks, especially if you jump your vehicle. It will break. They just break. I've replaced probably, and I'm not exaggerating, 10 over the last couple of years. Another thing that will go on the Polaris is this voltage regulator. This is the thing that stranded me, if you watch my videos, at Snowshoe. This is what you need to buy. Contact Michael Seegers. He'll hook you up with a new one. It's the only one you'll ever need. It's the only one you'll ever use. Moving on. I use Derisi to do my shocks. These are the Fox RC2 shocks. Derisi has done really well for me. I'm starting to need another suspension adjustment as I get faster on this thing. But it got me second place at Coker, and it did really well for me in other places too. One of the things that'll break on these is the fan inside that apparatus right there. You have to buy the whole cage and everything together. So what you want to do to prevent that is to spray this down with WD-40. It'll keep the rust from setting in, because everyone, you pressure wash your shit and then it gets rusty. So one of the things that there's a big argument about is overheating with the Scrambler. I've made videos about this, and then I argue with guys who have never raced a car in their life. They've only, they're like a fucking librarian, and they're arguing with me about how to keep your vehicle cooled off. So first things first is you want to put as little glycol in these things as possible. If you live in Alaska, obviously, or don't listen to my advice. If you live in Canada and it gets really cold, don't listen to my advice on this. But if you're just racing it, or you have an indoor garage with heating, put as little amount of glycol, meaning antifreeze, in here as you can. What I do is I put about between 10 and 15% to 25% of glycol inside the radiator, and then I put the rest is distilled water with this water wetter stuff. That's why it's glowing like that, because it's a special type of additive that keeps it doesn't keep the temperature down. It doesn't do anything other than stop cavitation at the water pump. You also want to put a little bit of water pump lube and anti-rust inhibitor inside your radiator when you're adding more distilled water. Another thing you can do is, if you're having overheating problems, is you can run nothing but distilled water, and you need a higher pressure, that's not zooming in. You need a higher pressure cap, because what happens is that the cooling efficiency of water increases as it expands, right? So you're going to need a cap that's going to be able to maintain that pressure. What else? But if you don't want to listen to me, then that's fine too. I don't feel this is the shit that I do. If if it's something that you feel like you don't need to do, you're not having overheating problems, that's fine. I run this honeycomb on the front. It's a little bit pricey. You can get it on the internet. I've never had an issue with overheating. People who run that blue shit on the front of theirs, they have overheating. I've seen them blow motors up. They keep trying to use that blue shit. I've gone over and over again about how much it sucks. Whether or not you want to use it is up to you. I don't use it. The next thing you want to do is you're going to need Texera Tech A-arms. upper and lower. I don't know if anybody's seen, but I've hit, what, like 3 or 4 trees this year, like bad, flip me over bad, breaking wheels bad. These Texera Tech arms have never done me wrong. They have stayed true. They've stayed their shape. They haven't bent. They haven't rusted. The powder coat has stayed on. They are the tits. And here's the Checo knuckles in there. Tires. I only run Kenda Bear Claw HTRs. They make the vehicle a little bit higher than average, but they also, you have a nice wear. I'm probably only going to need to use these. I probably won't need to replace these this whole season. I run 0 offset wheels, which means I have to shave my calipers a little bit. It narrows the bike in, brings the bike in so I'm not cracking trees. And I run standard length arms. If you already have wheels that are wide and outset rather, then you can run the shorter arms, but you're also going to need to run a shorter axle, and it increases the price. I run a Checo skid plate. There's also Gone Rogue Motorsports, Shane McCourt and Jeremy Rollins. They make a good skid plate as well. Checo custom made this one for me. I like that it's white because I can see if I'm leaking oil or anything else like that. And I've never had an issue with slides over everything. It's made of like this like weird plastic material, like ABS plastic material, but it's thick and it doesn't break. Never had an issue. The next thing I did was I added power steering to the 2016 850. If you plan on doing this, contact me. I'll show you how to do it, or at least I'll tell you how to do it. You're going to need to make some spacers in order to get it to work, but it does work. If you call Super ATV, it'll tell you that it don't work. It does. You just need to modify it on your own. And Super ATV offers like a ridiculously good warranty. Yeah. Inside the front differential, you need the Checo, I don't know if you can see it right there, rear frame. The support on the back of the diff. It's escaping me right now because I'm stuttering. It's this thing. It's that thing right there. See, it's made out of billet silver. You're also going to need the Super ATV cage that replaces the plastic cage that's inside your front diff. Some people will call it a sprag. I call it a sprag. No one knows what the hell I'm talking about. This is one of the first things you need to put onto your vehicle because those things apparently break. I raced the whole season with a stock one, but I'm slow as shit, so it doesn't really make a difference. What else? Another problem with the 850 is that the 850 does not come with 4-wheel disc. It comes with 3-wheel disc, and the faster you get, the more that really sucks. I mean, the brakes on the Scrambler suck anyway. Sorry, Polaris, they suck. A lot of guys will go to a Can-Am master cylinder. That's the next mod. In fact, I'm reminding myself as I'm making this video to make the Scrambler stop better because simply this thing doesn't like to stop. It's heavy. It's about 150 pounds heavier than a Renegade, even 1000 cc. We've weighed them. Yeah, so I added here's the brake line. I added the 4th brake. You're going to need, in order to do that, you're going to need all the hardware, the rear distribution block, and you're going to need to bleed the brakes about 85 times. Inside, if you're going to XC race or you're going to really take off-roading to the next level, you're going to need some sort of tire protection. There's 3 types of tire protection: tire balls, tire blocks, and tire splines. I run tire splines. We ran vehicles with tire splines in the military. I know it works, therefore I use it. I draw a lot of my military experience into XC racing to make sure I maintain my bike in a manner that it's going to survive. Checo taught me that it's more about surviving than it is about weight. being light, and he's 100% right. Also, on your front diff, you're going to need to change that front diff oil a lot. You're going to need to change your front diff, your regular oil, your rear oil, and your transmission fluid, your rear diff oil, all within 2 races, 3 races. It's the only way this shit's going to survive. Sorry, it is what it is. I haven't had any issues with belts, knock on wood. I use a regular stock Polaris belt, never had any issues. I'm not going to pull this off, but I use a K&N filter with a pre-filter. K&N for some reason has gotten a bad reputation. You know what? Fuck it. I am going to take it out. So you can see it's dirty. Hold on one second. All right. Now there's dudes out there that'll swear up and down that K&N lets dirt into your motor. Okay. This is the K&N pre-filter and then the K&N regular filter. Now, you tell me that that's letting dirt in there? That is a internet old wives' tale that has been told by other competitive companies, so that K&N, people don't use K&N. Here's the outside. You can tell this bike just got washed down. I used it. Here's the K&N pre-filter. Here's the K&N filter, and you're telling me that dirt's getting through there? Yeah, sorry, Charlie. That's a crock. K&N makes the best stuff. Sorry, period. End of story. You know, if you choose to use the foam stuff, then that's fine too. But once you wash that stuff, those particles just become clean. They never leave that filter. But that's for you to figure out. Anyway, I use Rogue grips, and it says let's see, they come with a little laser edged name on there. I keep this on there just in case that ever gets stolen. I use the flex bars. Work out great. These bark busters are Power Mid, I think. The seat on the Scrambler will come off. I don't know if I'll be able to see. Yeah, I can't see. Anyway, so there's these, hear that noise? There's a latch system. I can't remember who makes it, sorry. But works pretty good. You definitely need it. It's not optional, you need it. I use the rocks, floorboard grips, pegs, whatever you want to call them. Then I use rocks risers to adjust my handlebars to how I like them. This is a Quad Logic rear bumper. I ordered it in regular metal, and then I painted it myself. It's, you know, just from all the faster people hit me in the back and from me flipping it. What else? Oh, I use a big gun exhaust. I had another exhaust on there. It kept breaking the brackets. So if you look right here, this motherfucker's still hot. Checo makes a exhaust bracket that won't break. And then this bracket itself won't break too, because the other exhaust I was using, it has this weird like bracket on it, and it kept breaking. Also, this is a little bit more quiet. I have a flashed tune into the ECU. RVS, because I'm trying to squeeze every little bit out of this thing I can. It really makes a difference. An RVS tune and an STM secondary inside the transmission will wake this bike up like you wouldn't believe. It's expensive. You're looking at probably around $1,100 for that modification, but it's totally worth it if you're trying to squeeze every bit out of the 850. You can also put a 1000cc head onto the 850, and apparently that wakes it up a little bit too. But you're going to need a different header pipe. I've moved some of my controls off of the handlebars because I keep flipping this thing. This is my Fly Racing starter button. So what's nice about this is, one of the things that suck about the Polaris is it doesn't start very fast on the line. So you got to kind of bump it. So you're not sitting there turning the key like a monkey. I always race in all-wheel drive, as should you. There's some people who say that's not true, or that you only race in all-wheel drive when it's muddy. I don't subscribe to that point of view. You can actually feel that the bike is pulling you through the corners. I don't know, maybe those people are a little light in the ass and they don't need that, but I certainly do. One of the else things that suck about the Polaris is that the frame is garbage. The frame on these things is just garbage. I mean, it's like almost like Chinese made. Well, I guess with the Polaris's anti-Trump nonsense lately, I guess that kind of makes sense. But so this is a gusset. We have welded gussets. Thank you, Doug Moore, for doing that for me. So you have to gusset the frame on this. Also, right here, see this this motor mount? This motor mount's out of a T-Bird, a Ford T-Bird. The replacement Polaris motor mounts are complete and total garbage. They're junk. Moving on to what else is junk about the Polaris. See, I don't know if you can, it's showing up on camera, but see this? Okay. This plate is made by Checo. This plate is what protects the bottom side of the motor, because anybody who owns one of these knows that the oil filter sits right here. And what happens is you will crush that oil filter, being all yee, and it will blow your motor. Checo, I mean, dude, like, Checo is just the absolute best. Like, his stuff just, it's bar none the best stuff out there. I actually think he revised this design. I think there's a better design now, but this has served me really well this year. So thanks, Rick, for that. Another thing you want to make sure is that you're greasing your drive shaft. Your drive shaft has a grease point in here. Oh, there's a good shot of the billet diff plate. I use aftermarket, I think they're Cobra front axles. There's a better shot of the power steering. Fox RC2 shocks. I only use K&N filters. I only use Royal Purple oil. The really thick stuff. None of that for high heat. I think that's it. I've moved the speedometer down here. Billet throttle, because the plastic one breaks. There's some bracing and stuff under there that I don't feel like ripping the plastics off. Again, you know, rear diff. What happens with the rear diff back here is when the frame goes up and down, it starts wallowing out these holes where the diff support is. So this is important. This is another great Checo addition. Deleted the headlights, deleted the taillights. I can't think of anything else. They don't make these wheels anymore. Also, I'd recommend them to you. They are they're hypers. I don't run air in my rear tires. I run 7 or 8 pounds in my front tires with the splines. The reason I don't run air in my rear tires is because these are they have a hole in them. The actual rim has a hole in them. They need to get fixed. They leak, in other words. DP brakes we use. If you need a clutch, contact Jacob Carpenter on Facebook for SDM. It's amazing. Their stuff is amazing. I can't believe what a difference it makes with this bike. That's it. So my season's going pretty decent. We got some sandbaggers in my class. Really nothing you can do about that. And it's going to get worse as the season goes along, because, well, I'll get to that when we get to that. But I think I'm in 4th place in 4x4C right now. Even with all the bad luck I've had, it's still pretty good. I got a 2nd place this year, pretty happy about that. Got a 4th place in Florida, which I consider to be the hardest race of the year. So yeah, so the 850 is great, man, but it's not competitive. I'm just telling you that right now. The only reason that I'm riding this bike right now is because my Renegade's broken. I'll never get rid of this bike because it's the best bike I've ever owned, but my Renegade's rear trailing arm snapped, and I have to get the new style ones, and they're expensive. The Renegade needs a good amount of work, plus the valves the valves on the shocks redone because they were set up for a pro, and I'm definitely not a pro. So how do I wash my quad? I'll tell you what. So this stuff right here is amazing. This McGuire's hybrid shit. I see a lot of dudes getting ripped off on the internet, putting ceramic onto their UTVs and stuff. Just order the shit off of fucking Amazon and do it yourself. These dudes charging $800 to do your side-by-sides, retarded. It makes me sick. But this stuff's really good. It'll restore if you spray it on and leave it, it'll restore the plastics. I was kind of shocked. If you leave it on there and you wipe it, let me see if I can. What I got here? I'll just use my underoos. Here we go. So, I mean, it really does a good job. It takes the oxidation out. There's one more thing. So, I see guys using SC1, and I'm not knocking SC1, but it's expensive, okay? This is SC1 without the stuff added into it, the smell. This is $4 on AutoGeek. It's SC1. It's the same stuff. But how I wash my quad is I put actually detergent, no additive shit, like the stuff they make for babies. And then I spray that shit all over the bike. And then the mud will just drop off. With that combined with this stuff, it works really well. Yeah, so if you're looking for a quick way to wash your bike, use this shit first, and then use that stuff like the day of the race, and then when you wash all this stuff off, you'll see that this stuff will stay on your plastics, and then again, it'll restore it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them in the comments if you have questions. If you're going to XC race by a Renegade, it's just, the 800, 850, and 1000 Renegade, except for the new ones. The ones with the electronic throttle are pretty good. The new ones that are having all types of issues with, so I would buy an older one, which is probably easier on your checkbook anyway. Thank you for all the support and guys who watch my rants and my videos. I'm doing the best I can. It's slowly but surely all coming together. Life's getting better. And I'll have more time to work on my stuff. I don't know if I'm doing the Heartland Challenge this year. This is the ramp I use for my truck. I have the long bed truck, F350 long bed. I'm a Yankee, so I really don't give a shit about trucks. So if you're like, rather be Cummins and whatever the fuck it is, if you have a Cummins, great. If you have a Duramax, great, this is the wide ass ramp I use. It works really well. I don't have any problems getting on and off of the truck. It's not sketchy. And that's pretty much everything. Besides my toy hauler, and my support crew. So, again, thanks for all the support, everybody. Thanks for everybody being so positive and nice to me. Thank you for everybody at the races who was nice to me. I've had a lot of people come up to me this year, tell me they like my videos and stuff and lie to me. That's kind of nice. But that's pretty much everything that's on my Scrambler and everything that you'll probably need. Like I said, get to know Rick Checo, get to know his website, get to know saving up your money, and then, spending it wisely on smart parts. Do not get an 850 Scrambler, buy 1000. That's my biggest regret with all this stuff. If you're brand loyal, which is stupid, but if you are brand loyal, buy the 1000, save up the extra couple bucks to buy the 1000. Or if you're not brand loyal, and you're going to XC race, then definitely get a Renegade. Always run 93 octane too, and you can see the difference on the plugs and stuff like that. Everyone stay safe. I love you. Thanks for all your help. See you soon. Bye.